I am looking forward to this. Welcome to Starler Play. Welcome. We had to do the emergency pod today. We had to do it because for anyone that's been under a rock the last 8 hours or whatever it's been, Mr. Erik, man. Erik got his P40. I wish I could show it on my WhatsApps, man, because I've been saying this for a while, but Erik ten Hag has been finally sacked from Manchester United. We're going to be talking about that today. Before we get into anything, please subscribe to the channel. Slowly, the subscribers are creeping up. We've seen a few more comments in the comment section as well, so we appreciate all of that. The link for the podcast, the audio podcast, will be below as well. If you're on the live stream at the moment and you join, make sure you get involved in the discussion as well. But Kojo, what you say, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know me. I've been waiting for this moment. You know what I mean?
The smile's back, yeah.
What's that song? What's that Nicki Minaj and Drake song? Waiting for this moment for life. You know what I mean?
A moment for life. Yeah. You have been waiting for a while.
I'm in a great mood. Guys, you have to listen to me. Yeah? Right now, I'm in Canada, so I'm hours behind you guys. Yeah? I'm on the other side, and it's like God said, "Yo, if you need to go to the toilet, just wake up and go to the bathroom." I woke up to go to the bathroom. I said, "You know what?
You see the news?"
I just took my phone. I said, "You know what? Take my phone." I went to the notifications here, and all I see is, "Oh my God, he's gone." I went,
Yeah. But you know what's mad? I think he had to go, bro. He had to go. I remember we did. I can't remember if it was just before the international break or when we did it wouldn't have been when we did the United preview. It must have been in between a mad game, maybe the Tottenham game. But I definitely spoke about it maybe in the preview, and I said Ruud van Nistelrooy has been brought in to take over from Erik ten Hag. You could kind of see it happening, and I think when it became really clear to me was the Villa game, because after that Villa game, I can't remember. It was Villa. You could see Van Nistelrooy telling Erik ten Hag certain things, maybe tactically telling him certain things, right? And I could just see from Ruud van Nistelrooy's face that Erik ten Hag wasn't hearing none of it. I could see it in his face. Even Benny McCarthy coming out and saying certain things, yeah, you could tell that just things weren't really right at United. And I know you're happy about it, but it does. I don't know where to start this. It does feel kind of like it's been delaying the inevitable. We knew this was happening. I can't remember if I said to you about it. It feels like he's on a rolling game-by-game contract at the moment. It feels like every time he gets a loss, there's a talk about him getting sacked. If he wins or draws, it kind of buys him another 2 games. It's like pay as you go, a little bit old school. But do you feel that Ineos should have done this in the like? I feel like they've gave him another 200 million to spend in the summer. They extended the contract. 9 games in, he could easily have turned that round. I'm not saying he was going to do this, but he could easily have turned that round and had a good run of form after the West Ham game. But do you feel that Ineos should have just done this in the summer and just said, you know what, let's go and get Thomas Tuchel, who was available at the time, who I know they went and spoke to, but should they not have tried to do this in the summer and aggressively tried to replace him?
They should have done that, but I think logically speaking, the people that they approached just weren't agreeing to a contract at the time. Nagelsmann said no.
Yeah.
Tuchel didn't agree to the terms at the time. So when those two are out, and then you want Ruben Amorim, who didn't go to West Ham or Liverpool because they didn't want to pay near enough the transfer fees.
He's a terrorist, though. He's a terrorist.
Is he?
He's holding people to. You not heard the terms he was trying to get people to hold. He held clubs to ransom and all that. So
I'm not trying to excuse him for it, but his reputation is in Portugal. But when he went to Braga, and then when he went from Braga to Sporting, he was bought for basically transfer fees for players, and he's been successful wherever he's gone. So it's one of them ones where
you got to pay the money to get him.
If you're gonna pay me this, it's because I'm gonna deliver this for you, right?
Yeah,
but regardless, we couldn't get any free of them. So I think they got to a point they were like, flip, okay. And I think for them, not to discredit Ruud, but because he was linked with Burnley, you come and say, oh yeah, the guy that's linked with Burnley is good enough to take over Man United. The guy that's managing Ipswich and McKenna, is he good enough to take over Man United? I don't think they wanted that kind of pressure put on anyone straight away. No excuse. I'm just trying to
I hear it.
See it from their perspective. But I do agree, regardless, I think he should have been sacked anyway. I said it from time I said, if you can't get those guys, that's your job. You're supposed to find a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You have to. It's your job to find it. And to be quite frank, his time is up now. Thank you for the trophy, but it's perfect time to say goodbye because the league campaign was a disaster, and I don't think it's going to get any better. But I think the key thing that people missed out was when he got the contract extension. It wasn't a new contract; it was extension.
Yeah,
The key things coming out of it was the new terms to that contract, where I believe it was now on a very much performance-based sort of incentive contract. And if you don't meet certain terms or certain criteria, or you get to a certain stage, then we can sack you. That's why I don't even believe the whole £17 million fee that we've paid him, because the person that's reporting that is Samuel Luckhurst. And if you check out Samuel Luckhurst,
you don't like him.
relationship with Man United last year, yeah, man, he's just posting all the negative stuff because he just wants to give Man United fans pain because the club don't like him, and the fans absolutely brutalize him on social media. But anyone else will not have repeated that, or reported that fee, so they are reputable. But no, he had to go, man. He should have been done this summer, but we're here now. Man. It's what it is, isn't it?
I don't know if you can see this on the screen now, Kojo, but I've just got the club statement up, so I don't know if you'll be able to see this. But
I can't see it. Read out.
But so it's mad because I know he was only there for what, two and a half years, 3 years?
2 years. 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
This is his third season.
This is his third season. So the club statement's really short. Like literally Erik ten Hag has left his role as Manchester United's men's first team manager. Erik was appointed in April 22 and led the club to 2 domestic trophies, winning the Carabao Cup in 2023 and the FA Cup in 2024. We're grateful to Erik for everything he has done, his time with us, and wish him well for the future. And that's all they've said about him. That's literally his bit. And then at the end of it, they've just put Ruud van Nistelrooy will take charge of the team as interim head coach, supported by the current coaching team, whilst the permanent head coach is recruited. Now, I think that's mad in terms of like, I don't know. Is it mad? Should they have potentially said a bit more to him? You don't think so?
No, I think it's fine. Thank you for the trophies, kind of thing. But I think that's it. If the things that are coming out are the new guys that are in there, so your Wilcox and your Barada, they have been almost slating him in the meetings because they're not happy with him. And it was one of those situations where when you're not happy with somebody, sometimes you just got to say little, if anything, really, to be quite frank. I don't know what people want to hear. I don't know what people think they want to hear. So I don't know what people think they want to hear, quite frank. I don't know what they expect. Because
a little bit more, though, no?
No, you could say things for the services, but look, he led us to a League Cup, he led us to an FA Cup. But they could have also said, if it went in deeper, they could have said, despite a poor league campaign, he has not started the season, and that's what, you know how clubs do it. They're like, unfortunately, the season's not started well, so we had to, end the contract immediately and terminate the contract immediately, and thank you for your services and all that stuff. We thank you for the trophy. We had a great time winning them. We beat Man City in the final. It was fantastic. The League Cup final, can't remember who we beat, but yeah, it was great. Thank you for that. But the league is where it's at, and quite frankly, you've underperformed. First season you finished third, and then you finished 8th the next year, and where are you now? 14th.
Yeah, it's not good enough. No, it's not good enough. I was speaking to another United fan earlier, and they were like, things were very similar under Jose at one point, Oli at one point, and I kind of agreed with him a little bit, but I just think even though they were bad under Oli, under Jose, I personally think this is one of the worst moments I can remember as in United's history. Like just being 14th, not really. I remember I said to you, I think we've done the first debate show, and I said to you, I don't really understand Ten Hag's like plan, vision, what he's trying to do. And there was no signs of that. Even two and a bit years, 2 seasons, third season, there's still nothing from this guy like that says, this is what we're trying to do. And if he was talking, which I don't know, I doubt he was doing this, but if he was talking the way he was talking out loud at the end to the press and just kind of knew that time was up for him. If he was talking like that to the players, or he's had situations with Sancho and other players as well. If he's acting like that around the players, I don't blame the players essentially. Like, the players have to be held accountable to an extent, but I don't necessarily blame them, because if the instructions aren't clear, the tactics aren't clear, the vision going forward is not clear. Some of these are young players, like they need direction and guidance and all the rest of it. And if they ain't got that, I kind of understand why things are really like a mismatch on the pitch. It really is. It's clear to see.
It is, yeah. Look, I'll be very real. The reason why I don't think number one is worse than or as bad as Mourinho or things, because I think Mourinho got sacked when we were sixth. We lost to Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, lost to Liverpool, and it was a bad result. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lost to Watford in his last game, that 4-1 loss. I don't think anyone will forget that one. That one was a terrible defeat.
Yeah.
And when we finished, we were 12 points behind the leaders at the time, right? So if I get the table up right now, just one moment. Get the table up right now, yeah. So we're how many points behind? We're 12 points behind Man City as well. But
you should be looking at the other end as well, though.
No, I know, I hear you. But we're 14th. We're in a negative, what's it called? Goal difference again already. Last season, we finished in a negative goal difference.
Yep.
And you continue to leak goals. Like, the reason why I can't say it's worse is because, yes, he won more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in my opinion, got sacked for less. He made it to a Europa League final. So he finished second behind City when he finished second behind City, I think, once. Went to the Champions League twice, kind of thing. Mourinho, first season, won 2 trophies. Yes, we didn't start the season. We didn't finish the league season well. We finished 6th, but won 2 trophies, a Europa League title, and the FA League Cup. The next year, he finished second behind the Centurions, the team that was first to 100 points in Premier League history. So, that was already in regards to the points difference, you're not winning that league title because they were just on another level that year, but he finished second behind that team. And the reason why I mentioned those two in particular is because whilst everyone was talking about City and Liverpool being the two dominant teams, those two managers managed to have teams that sort of broke that monopoly on occasions, right?
Yeah.
You've come in, and apart from finishing third, and even when you finished third, you weren't that close. You've not been close since. Last year was a warning.
That's true.
And this is why I keep saying, if Ineos were able to get who they wanted, he wouldn't be here. Bro, Louis van Gaal got sacked for this. Louis van Gaal finished 5th, he won the FA Cup. He finished 5th by like a point or two. Because City were not great that year and they managed to just leapfrog us on the last day after we drew a game or something like that, right? So, like, people are getting sacked for less, and you were allowed to continue based on the fact that, one, we couldn't get who we wanted, and two, you managed to bring in 2 trophies. You finished the season on a high, bringing a trophy against our City rivals, right? So, we're going to give you this buy. We're not going to give it to Ruud van Nistelrooy. Not that we're going to put pressure on him yet. We're not going to get McKenna in, because if we wanted McKenna, really and truly, we could have got McKenna. Let's be real.
Yeah, right? 100%.
This is all accumulated, man. It's all accumulated. So no, it's not on the same level. This is worse. This is worse.
I would think so as well.
Think about the fixtures, bro. I know Tottenham have smacked us at home before, but the 3-0 loss, Tottenham didn't have to even be great. They didn't have to be great.
Facts.
You know what I mean? When they beat us 6-1, they were good. That's not me trying to say that defeat was better. It's not better. You can see the stakes, but they were good that day at least.
Yeah.
Spurs didn't have to be. And the proof in the pudding is after they won that game, what's their form been since? You go into the Europa League, and the format is kind of allowing you enough fixtures to make it kind of easy enough for a big team to, progress and go through. And you've drawn 3 games in a row.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
And you're losing 3-2 to come back 3-3. Fenerbahce, you're winning to draw again. what's the first one as well at home? Like, bro, yeah. People can
Even
make
even a
excuses.
Villa game as well. Even a Villa game played like we said he was clearly playing for the draw because he knew the draw would keep him in the job. It was safe. He never really went for it against Villa.
Bro, if it's Chelsea, right? If it's Chelsea didn't, when under Pochettino, when you didn't have great time with Pochettino, even though, okay, I say from end of December, beginning of January, you guys were on a great run to sort of get you back into a European spot at least, right?
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
damage had been done for the season.
Yeah.
But you go against a team that was emotionally spent against Bayern Munich because they put their heart and soul into a game
Yeah, of
against a
course.
team that's
Can't use that as an excuse.
You got to go in for the kill. You have to. And he didn't even have the chest to do that.
Even West Ham yesterday. Now I know everyone keeps saying United were done hard done by with the VAR and all the rest of it, and I don't disagree with that. But every team has that issue. I think Arsenal were hard done by yesterday because it wasn't VAR, but the referee blew the flipping whistle on a foul that wasn't a foul, and then they went on to score, and then he blew the whistle. He should have waited to see if it was going to be a goal, then blow the whistle. But anyway, that game yesterday, there was no, because you see West Ham, they are in trouble. Same with Crystal Palace. I know they got a win yesterday, but you see with West Ham, they're in trouble. The way that they play, when we played them, I couldn't believe how high their line was. I couldn't believe where the manager wants them to play. I thought when I seen that fixture, I thought this is United's. That's a game that United will thrive in. They can't lose that because, and I'll be honest, I haven't seen the full game, but if they were playing that high line that they were playing against Chelsea, there's no that would have been Garnacho's dream. That would have been a dream for someone like Garnacho to just be like, what, you're actually playing on the halfway line? Okay, cool. Watch what I do then. Højlund, okay, watch what I do. You know, Rashford and all the rest of them. So that there's no excuses. Forget the VAR, forget all of that. This isn't just down to that West Ham game. The games you mentioned, the disastrous season last season that was salvaged with the FA Cup, the Community Shield performance, again, kind of masked over a couple of things. But this has been an ongoing thing. And for me, Ionos, the mistake that they've made, I'm going to bring this up actually, because I've got it here. I don't know why my lighting's gone off, but I'm going to sort that in a minute. But let me bring up this because this is I'm in shock. When I look at some of these prices, I'm bringing up the list of transfers that have been made under him so far. Agate, 50 million. De Ligt, 45. These are in euros, sorry. Mazraoui, 15. Lenny Yoro, 62 million euros. Zertsky, 42.5 million. Amrabat was a fee of 9 million, a loan fee. Rasmus Højlund, 73.9 million. Onana, 50 million. Mason Mount, 64 million. Weghorst, he was there then, right? No, I'm just hold on. He was there, right? He was there for that, right?
I completely blanked out that whole Weghorst phase. I forgot about that one.
Wow. Okay, I forgot he was there then. So yeah, and then we got wait, Dubravnik as well. When did you sign him?
The Newcastle keeper. Yeah.
Oh well, there was a fee there, 2.5 mil, and then Anthony. This is the one. Anthony, Casemiro, and Martinez. They're all his signings, right? Malacia, 50. So yeah, Anthony, 95 million euros. Casemiro, 70 million. Martinez, 57 million. Malacia, 15 million. Yeah,
let me tell you what the issue is with these signings, yeah. Because when you listen to the names, I'm not even mad at the name. And
nah, the names are calm.
Yeah, well, apart from Weghorst and Anthony, but that and they might sound crazy, but the fees don't particularly bother me. I'll tell you why the fees don't particularly bother me. Because how do I even say this? A player's fee. How do I say this? Yeah, a player's fee is determined by how much performance you get out of them, right? Mm-hmm. So, if you signed what's his name, Højlund for 70+ million euros, right? If you're able to get him to perform and score goals in positions where at least he's showing promise, then you can say, you know, depending on what opinion is, he's worth the fee or not. That's all going to be opinion based, right? My issue is with all these players signed, we cannot prove that you have the ability to take them forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I cannot. I don't have the confidence that Lenny Euro is going to develop under you to be a fine player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
elect has now started to show the player that we hope that he will be, because defensively he's been
Oh,
better.
he's been solid though. He's been solid.
He's been solid, he's been good, right? Martinez, but then here comes the other side of it. Martinez has not performed as great as you want him to. You don't drop him. As mad as it is to say, one of the best performing centre backs for what's his name, Ten Hag under his tenure was Maguire when he played, but you didn't
Yeah,
play
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
You continue to drop. You continue to just play Martinez. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I want to see Maguire week in and week out, but the name of the game is form, right? Rashford struggled for form last year. You refused to drop him. Anthony struggled for form last year. You refused to drop him. Then you make crazy statements like, "Oh, Anthony deserved to come on before Ahmad because he's trained well, but Ahmad plays well in games for you, and then you drop him. He's in form, and it comes to a big game, and suddenly he's on the bench. So you're not showing confidence in the player. Like it's all this weird behavior. Bruno Fernandes has not performed for you for the last 18 months, but Bruno
He's
Fernandes
he's in the team though.
undroppable apparently. But you say that no one can, sort of get away with murder here. You came in on your first day and you're asked about what can Ronaldo bring you. You said goals. And then on your first league game ever as Man United manager, Anthony Martial lets you down again by getting injured, and you're at instead of putting the other striker up front being
Yeah.
Ronaldo, you put Ericsson there as a false nine. But then the next game against Brentford, knowing their high energy in that midfield, very quick, you need someone that's going to hold their position well. You left Ericsson then there as a lone six the next game. Bro, all the warnings have been there. And this is why I've always shied away from saying this is the guy. Because when I said it to one of my group chats today, because they were like, "Oh, you were happy when Ten Hag came in." I was like, "No, I was calm with him coming in because he has a decent reputation."
Yeah, he come in with the reputation, and he
Yeah,
done well.
at
He done
Ajax.
well. He got. I think we forget that he done well at Ajax.
He did. He
He
did.
done really well
But
there.
I also caveat that with the reason why I said on Don Robbie Sports when I was on there. I said two things. I said one, I think I said to you as well. I think I prefer Pochettino at that time.
You did.
Because looking at what Todd Bowley had done at Chelsea with the signing they had made, I thought that if you actually had swapped the managers, they suit the squads better. That was my first opinion. And the second opinion was it might be harsh to say it for the manager as well, but looking at how the players that were part of his team that did great in the Champions League, when they went to their separate clubs,
Yeah.
90% of them didn't work for some reason. And whatever that reason is, it might also count for the manager as well. So we need to be careful. But he finished third, and I said, okay, this is a good start. You need to continue it. And he did not get close to continuing it. And this is where the issue is. And this is what people need to understand. And it's not about trying to continuously bash him. And people are going to be like, "Oh, you're back to square one, though. You're sacked another manager, then you have to build another team, and you're going to give another manager new money." Well, that's the name of the game. Unfortunately, that's what happens in football. If it is Ruud van Nistelrooy to the end of the season, or Nagelsmann, or Amorim, or McKenna, or whoever else you want to throw into the thing, and yes, I'll for banter sakes, I'll include Southgate in that as well. Whoever it is,
I'm gonna get onto that in a minute. Don't worry.
I know you're gonna get to that. Whoever's name you want to throw into that, right? If they come in and see the squad and say, I can do something with the squad, then cool, so be it. And then when they want to improve the squad, so be it. Because when he finished third, none of the fans were saying, "Oh, that he doesn't deserve to improve the squad." They were happy for him to make the changes. This is the name of the game. So if Ruud van Nistelrooy somehow manages to guide United into a European spot, somehow into the top four, for example, you're going to sit there and say, "Oh, he deserves the job. Give him the money to go and spend to improve the team." You're going to say that as fans. It's natural. It's normal. It just depends what's going to happen. But yeah, look, look at all the things we're talking about, and the only two positives, and it's crazy to say the only two positives are two trophies, because two trophies are good.
No,
They're
and
very good things.
you can't
Very
overlook
good
them as well, because you look at the amount of teams you have to play, and you came up against a City squad. I know they were on party mode when you played them, but that you still have to turn up on the day and still have to win the game. Do you know what I mean? It's not something you can overlook at all. But I do agree that it shouldn't have taken for this. I don't think it shouldn't have taken for those 2 trophies to still keep him in that job, because there were clear signs before the win of the League Cup. There was clear signs after that League Cup win, and then an FA Cup trophy, and even a Community Shield, to tell you that this guy was just out of his depth. He was just clearly out of his depth at the club, and I think that's not, again, a personal assessment just on him, because he done well at Ajax. There's a lot more things that need to be resolved at that club, and people knew that before he even got there, and Ionos got there. If you're a United fan, you've been talking about these kind of things for so long that they're still there. Just because Ionos came in, those issues haven't gone away. They're still there. Yeah. It's just that, I can't remember if you said this to me or someone else, but they basically said that it's the Glazers with just Ionos sticker over it. It's just Ionos with Glazers with a new little thing, a new little package. They repackaged the Glazers with Ionos. It's the same thing.
So again, this is where I keep getting annoyed with United fans, because I've been calling them spoiled brats for about 8 years now.
You're not the only one that says that now, though.
I'll become one of them, and I realized, okay, Michael, you know what? Football happens, man. This is when you need to see how your team actually operates from here, right? United fans have been screaming for the Glazers to go. We haven't got them out completely. Understood, right? The second thing they've been hoping for then is, okay, if you can't get them out completely, can you get people hired that know the sporting side? Because they look at the club as a business. We need sporting people in there. So these guys have come in. Unfortunately, only 25%, which will grow in the future.
Yeah.
25% in there. And within that 25%, they've managed to stranglehold all the sporting affairs. So all the sackings, all the bringing-ins, the financial packages, yes, the Glazers will have to put their names in there and obviously let you know how much you can spend in the summer, absolutely. But outside of that, it's all you guys. It's all Ineos, right? So that's why you've been able to bring in Barada, Wilcox, Ashworth, and all these other guys that they brought with them, right? So you take your pluses there. And when that was all announced and all these guys were being signed, and I know you were there as well, but you saw on social media, Man United fans were getting gassed. Oh, yeah. Finally saw that. Yeah. Upstairs.
The money.
These guys got peas, man. But then they forget that the squad still needs to be rebuilt.
The same squad, the same training complex is still there, the same leaky roof, the same issues that Ronaldo spoke about.
Thank you. It's
still
long road. It's a very, very long road. When I sit here on this podcast and I say that we still need 15 new players, people think I'm joking.
Nah, you do.
You do. Needs a refresh. A serious refresh, and that's not going to happen in one summer.
But that's going to take years, and I mean years to even. I don't think. I'm trying to think of a squad that's probably Liverpool's probably the best example of that, and even they're now having to do that whole rinse and repeat thing now, because if they lose Salah, Van Dijk and Trent, but they're the ones that I feel like they've kind of, it's taken them years, and I'm talking from the 90s up until now to get where they are. You know, you remember in the 90s they were dominating, they were doing this, they were doing that, or in the 80s as well. But they had their mad dip. They were just qualifying for the Champions League just about. They were in the FA Cup finals and all that, but they weren't challenging for leagues, and you never saw them in no conversation for no title race. But now that they're ones that are there, because they slowly, over years, gradually had to go through some really tough, dark times to get back to where they can feel confident enough to say, yeah, we're going to be in a title race this season. So it's taken them years to get there. United, I mean, when was the last Premier League trophy? When was that? 2013. So you're already, 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. You could go another 10, and this is me not being like over the top here, but you could go another 20 years without seeing United win a trophy, like Premier League trophy, just because of how things are. Like Liverpool strengthen. If they strengthen again next season, and they keep Trent, and they keep Van Dijk, and they lose maybe Salah, and then they replace someone with a Jared Bowen or whoever with Salah, and then they bring in another one or two players in midfield, they've strengthened. You know that City, they're going to beat them Chargers. I'm telling you from now, they're going to beat them. If they beat them, they're going to be in there challenging again. So United, if they don't get, and this is why I think the interim, which I want to talk about, I just want to read this out though, because I know I'm going to forget it if I don't. But if they don't get the next manager right, I'm glad they've got the interim in. I want to ask your thoughts on that in a minute. But I want to shout out Footy Heritage. Top 2 managers to replace Erik ten Hag. Stuttgart manager Sebastian, is it Hones? I think it is. That's there. And Brighton manager Fabian Hertzler. Both managers are young with great style of play. No to Almiron. Plays 5 at the back. Defensive style. What's your thoughts?
Can I ask that? Yeah. So this thing about Amorim, actually no, not only about Amorim, because I'm a big Amorim fan. I'll stand for him. I've already done that many times on here. This whole thing about being 5 at the back means defensive. I think people need to go and watch these teams play. When out of position, the 5 at the back just make sure that you have that structure. You have enough bodies to defend situations, right? There's a reason why they've only conceded 2 league goals this season. But in possession, they used those 3 at the back to start building up the play.
Yep.
The wing back spread out a little bit. 2 of the midfielders come in a little bit. The forwards, everyone knows their positions, right? There's importance to that. And he was so successful with that he got someone like Sebastian Coates, even at his older age, be able to build really, really well. And it's similar to what Ruud was doing at PSV. He didn't play, sometimes he played 5 at the back, sometimes he played 4 at the back, similar to Amorim. But he used Brentford when he was on loan there before he came back to Everton.
Yes, he did.
Teze and I forget the other one. He used these guys to also help build up the play. 3 or 5 at the back, whichever way you want to look at it, whether it's a 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, whichever way you want to look at it, it's not defensive football. The formation doesn't make it defensive. It's the approach to the game that makes it defensive.
The build-up. When you get that build-up right, you get the build-up play right, and you utilise, like you said, the wing-backs. It isn't essentially a 5 at the back anyway, because your wing-backs are more in the advanced roles. They're pushing up higher up the field as well. And obviously when you lose possession of the ball, that actually gives you a bit more. I know, you know what I think with people when they say, and I'm not saying that Football Heritage is saying this, but you know when people say 3 at the back and you can't trust your centre backs. That came from a comment Paul Mercer made a couple of seasons ago. He said that basically when you got 3 centre backs, it's because the manager doesn't trust the centre backs. It's not always the case. Sometimes the way that the game's played now, it actually gives you more safety and options for your wing backs to go forward and advance and help those attacking transitions of play. So I actually, because we did it at Chelsea, we've done it successfully under different managers and done it really badly under managers as well. But I don't think Amorim for me would be a bad shout. I mean, I don't think he's going to come to United. I'll be honest. I think the names that I'm hearing and I'm seeing, and I'm going to bring them up for you, so we can see them in 4K. Yeah. And to be honest, I want to hear your on like a serious thing. I want to hear your thoughts. Amorim is actually the outsider out of the 5. So. This is apparently he's number 1. Sorry, he's number 1. Apologies, he's number 1. I don't know if you've just seen the news. No, I haven't. What's going on?
I read it to you.
Is it about the Ballon d'Or?
No, it's about the manager.
Go on.
Manchester United are working on a deal to appoint Ruben Amorim as head coach. They're ready to pay £10 million, €10 million release clause, and in talks with Sporting to finalise it. The 39-year-old Portuguese is open to accepting them. Oh,
are you taking a piss?
I'm not, and that's from Ornstein as well. Okay,
let me go to Ornstein. I'm on Twitter right now. Let me just. Now, why am I Twitter? This is why I don't use Twitter on here. You know, it's always slow. Let's find Mr. Ornstein. Of course, he's not the first David that comes up. Here he is. We got him. Do you know what? I kind of agree with it, but at the same time as well, I was just about to say and ask you, but let me just get this up. Okay, yeah. So working on a deal to appoint Ruben Amorim as head coach. Man United are ready to pay the 10 million release clause in talks with Sporting. Wow. Do you know what I will say though? I will say he loves to use other clubs. He does. He done it with Liverpool. He done it with us. He likes to use other clubs and it kind of gives him an opportunity to I don't know, renegotiate his contract with Sporting. He done it with Liverpool. But that's a good, if you get him, like we've just been saying then, it doesn't matter about his defensive style because that works in transition. And when you've got a manager like him, very young, very different to Erik Ten Hag and how he set that team up. Oh my gosh. Give me your thoughts then, man. That is literally breaking news, man. Breaking news right there, David Ornstein. What's your thoughts?
So
I love that though, because it literally is about to start talking about next candidates for the manager. But if Ornstein's tweeting them kind of things out, there's some proof in the pudding, 100%.
There you go. So this is why I didn't believe the £17 million fee, because if we're paying that, we can't pay an extra 10 million for a manager. Believe me, we cannot.
Even though I feel like Ian would, you know, I feel like they would. I feel like they would, but there were murmurs about the reason why they gave the extension and changed the terms a little bit is because they changed the release.
Because they didn't want the potential sacking of the manager to hinder what they can do in the transfer market in the next summer.
Okay, of course, yeah.
So a bit touchy, so that's why they went quickly to remove some of his responsibilities and change terms.
Of course.
I think.
Try and find a bit more on this as well. I want to try and find a bit more on this Amorim news, but yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, but people are getting on to me because people in my group chat know that I'm a big fan of him. So one guy said, if I'm not locked in, no, I'm not locked in, but if he's whack, I'm coming to your house.
Well, Amorim?
Yeah, because
Amorim's the guy, man. Amorim is the guy.
What you saying?
Yeah, I was saying Amorim's the guy. He's the guy, man. If you get him,
boy, if we get him, I genuinely want United to make the next step to go and get Hugo Viana. So I don't know if anyone was paying attention 2 weeks ago, but City were making noise.
Yeah, they were.
If Pep is to not sign a new contract and leave at the end of the summer, then they're looking at him and Viana because they like their pairs, isn't it? And obviously his boy, I don't know say his name, so I'm not going to try and butcher it, but his boy at City, that boy at City and Barca.
Yeah.
They do work as a tandem. Whoever he wants, he brings. Viana was similar to him, or for him in that vein, that Sporting, their pair. And I haven't had a pair since literally Sykes Ferguson and David Gill. So this is good. So it's a good start. I will say to fans, don't get overly excited. His record is fantastic, but don't forget we've got a lot to do here.
It's true.
Because he's my guy, I'm going to exercise the patience because I believe in what he can do. But I know other fans won't have that patience. But we'll see what happens. But man, bro, I'm happy. They've got the ambition.
Let me ask you this though, because I feel like I said just before that this kind of feels like they put Ruud van Nistelrooy in charge, interim, all lovely and whatever. And I said that they have to get the next appointment right. Yeah. My understanding, if this is correct and that is true, that Amorim is the guy that United are going for, that they've been talking to him throughout the whole... This isn't like they just rang him today and said, look, we just sacked Erik, we want you. That hasn't happened. So if they've been doing this, why not do this in the summer? When Liverpool was sniffing and go on.
The fee was bigger that time. So they were...
But his release clause fee was only like 15, wasn't it? 16?
I think it was near 20, actually.
Oh, was it 20? Okay.
Yeah,
but even so, man, you've had to then pay out one of the other... You could have just sacked him. You could have sacked Ten Hag and save yourself 200 mil because you still spent another 200 mil in the summer. You get what I'm saying? So,
no, you're right. You're spot on. But yeah, the name of the game, innit? It's done now.
You gas now, don't it? It's getting you gas now.
Yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm happy because I didn't think they'd have that many to go from. What I'm intrigued about though is this an immediate move, or is it going to be end of the summer? That's what I want to find out now.
Well, that's what I was trying to find out, but I can't get onto the Athletic on the laptop, so it's on my iPad actually. Let me see if I can get on here. But I would say if you're talking to him and doing the whole release thing, the release clause thing, then you want him now. You're paying if I'm paying 10 million for something, I'm not waiting till flipping. I want it now. If I'm paying you 10 million, you better deliver him to me and make sure he's at Manchester Airport by Monday. Like, I want him there. So,
facts.
Amorim is good shout. I do want to still talk about some of the other candidates because again, I remember he was linked heavily before Arne Slot went to Liverpool. He was heavily linked with them. He was linked with us as well. There are talks about Thomas Frank, Gareth Southgate. Now, obviously, that was beforehand. I know what you're going to say now, because you know that Amarin's in the wings waiting, isn't it? So this is like a pointless question I'm going to ask, but I generally think, Thomas Frank does need to step up. He needs like a step up. I feel like he's a really, really good manager. Like, even when I watched him on Monday Night Football, I think it was either last season or the start of this season. It was last season, because Ivan Toney was still there. And just hearing him talk, him and Gary O'Neill are going to be two good managers eventually. Whether I can tell they're two very good managers just by hearing what they say and their understanding of the modern game, how it is today. You know, there's certain managers that we talk about as greats and whatever. That, like Jose, for me, is always going to be a great manager, but the way he plays football now is kind of outdated, and he hasn't really moved with the times. Do you get what I'm saying? Thomas Frank is going to be a good manager. I think he just needs to move from Brentford, and we need to see him. If this Amarin deal does not come through, which it sounds like it's going to, but if it doesn't, would Thomas Frank be on your shortlist of managers above Gareth Southgate, I'm assuming?
Oh, everyone's above. I'm above Southgate.
Listen, Southgate could be a good option, you know. Like, I know we joke about this, but no, just hear me out. Because the reason I think he might be a good option, is because he actually, like, how am I trying to address this? I want to try and make it so it doesn't sound so he plays very defensively, which is the bad negative side of his football.
Yeah.
I think he would be different. His management style would have to be different on a club by club, day by day basis. He couldn't play how he's played for England, or how he sets his team up for England, how he does that for a club. One, he's got totally different players, and two, I think he would heavily and quickly realise that the way he plays or set up that England team, he would get turned over pretty much every game in the Premier League. So he'd have to change his ideas and come up with something. I'd love to see him in a club capacity again. I know he didn't have a good time at Middlesbrough in the end, but I think I'd like to see him in a club capacity. And in fact, when he got sacked, because I remember I was listening to my Leroy Lita interview the other day. Leroy Lita said that he got sacked. They were doing well, Middlesbrough, when they sacked him. And they brought in Gordon Strachan. So he was actually doing well. I think they were like near the playoffs, or they're in the playoff positions when they sacked him. So he's not actually a bad manager. We just kind of have this stigma of how he is. Do you know what I mean? In terms of his football, his style of football. But I reckon he would have to adapt that if he come to the Premier League and manage a big club like United. They won't put up with that defensive football week in, week out. What do you think?
So here's the positive and negative to that, is where I think the negative to his situation, which I think Lee Carsley went overboard with, is the fact that English fans wanted to see a more progressive style. So there's so much attacking talent that England had that England fans couldn't possibly fathom that. How come you have so much English attacking talent at your disposal and you're not using it? So that's the negative, right? That's the negative. The positive side of it is maybe he thought that he had to pick those players because, one, they were the best performing, and two, that was the restricted to what he was restricted. Well, that was what he was restricted to. When you're a manager of a country, you're restricted to one punt of players. You can't go past all of that. You know what I mean? The most you can go past is if someone is so far French, but they've been picked by a French manager. Yeah. So before Elise got his French debut, he qualified for England because of the fact that he was here for years upon years. I can't remember if he was actually born here or what, but regardless, you could hear in his accent that he was pretty much London born and bred, right? So if France didn't pick him, and Southgate went to him in time and said, "Look, I really like you. I want you to play for England," and give him an England cap, a senior one, in a competitive fixture, he will qualify for England. But that's as far as it goes. You know what I mean? That's as far as it. That's what I can think of that was in that situation, was when this stupid country was talking about Manuel Almunia being the next England goalkeeper, right? What a time that was. So that's as far as I think it goes. But But that's the positive for that is for I think for all international managers is when you have that restriction taken off, you can actually sign players from
Yeah.
anywhere. You can maybe we can talk about you being more of a maybe a potential top manager or not. So we'll never know until he gets that job. Same thing we said about Thomas Frank. He's not an international manager, but he's at a club where he's got them stable. He's got them in a good Premier League position. They're not going to
Yeah.
get relegated. They could potentially finish in a European spot, but they're not going to go and win a title anytime soon, which is
Yeah.
okay. Which is okay. But when he gets that move, because it will come, it will come. I genuinely believe it will come. I don't know where to, but I think it will come. That's when you see whether he steps up or not. And I think he'd try and take someone like Mbemo with him, and would Mbemo step up with him as well? Like these are all the questions that need to be answered, but you just never know. It's the same with any other manager. Arsenal took a risk when they took what's his name when they took Arsene Wenger from Japan.
Yeah.
Man
Yeah.
United took
Yeah.
a risk. Man United took a risk when they took Sats Ferguson from Aberdeen. Yes, he had beaten Real Madrid back in the day with Aberdeen, but
Yeah, it's still a risk though, especially at that point as well. You know, the way that
exactly.
football
But it's
was.
football. Yeah, apples and oranges. You guys, even though Porto had won the Champions League with Mourinho, there was no guarantee he was going to replicate that success. And he went on to create one of the best Premier League teams we've ever seen, ever. So it's all going to be a risk, but that's why you need
Yeah.
to take a chance. And Amarim, in that as well, is the risk because all the stats are in his favor right now. As a
Yeah.
manager,
Yeah.
he hasn't really tasted failure. He actually hasn't really tasted failure.
He hasn't.
When they won the title, with Sporting, it was the first title in 19 years.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pressure was low. The next 2 years, he won domestic trophies, and then the next year, which was last season, he won the league title again. But because Porto and Benfica are the two top sides, no one is expecting him to break that monopoly. That could work in his favour at United because right now, United are not near City, they're not near Arsenal, they're not near Liverpool. So it could work in his favour. But again, the pressure's different because once you get a decent season at United, it's like, oh, then we expect you to push to the next level now. Expectations need to be managed. But so far, I'm cool.
You know what? I was just because I've just been reading the Ornstein article here on the iPad. Don't know why it's not working on the laptop, but you forget. I mean, yeah. I mean, two things. One, he's very good with young players in terms of bringing those through and developing them as well, which is something I don't necessarily think Erik Ten Hag was good at United. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if Gyökeres follows him. I would not be surprised, I would not be surprised because I think United are screaming out. I know you've got Rasmus Højlund and you got Zertsky that are there, but I would not be surprised. And I can't remember if I feel like Gyökeres has got like a nice release clause. I'm sure his release clause isn't even that much. I would not be surprised if you come in for him in the summer. If you get this Amarin deal done, I think he's going to say, look, you know what managers are like. They come in, they want their own little shopping list. They give it to the people and say, look, can you make sure at least 2 out of these 5 or 3 out of these 7 that are on this list at least come to this club with me. Maresca wanted, of all people, Keelan Dewsbury Hall. I don't know why, but he wanted to bring him, so he brought him to Chelsea. All managers want someone, a familiar face around that they can kind of rely on. And if you get Gyökeres as well, then yeah, you'd be mad. It'd be absolutely crazy. But what does this mean now for United though? If you get this deal done, I would assume he's coming now. He's not coming in the summer. He has to come now because you're paying out. Otherwise, you could negotiate maybe that's what you're negotiating, but you could negotiate that release clause surely and say, look, if he's not coming now, then don't forget though, it was West Ham, the other club, wasn't it? Was it West Ham that you spoke to and then he said that the meeting was a mistake or something like that?
Yeah. So he spoke to Liverpool first, and the fee was too much.
That was
then
it.
He went to West Ham, and they said that West Ham, the meeting with West Ham was a mistake because I think West Ham weren't even close to
Like the clause, yeah.
The clause, and not only that, the sort of like what he wants to build the squad for. They weren't even.
But I think United are going to be different. I think United are going to be, because I feel like with United, like I said, they have to get this appointment right. Not that they have to go for like a big name, because as much as Amarin is a really big name in today's football, he is a massive name. I think I just don't. So it goes back to my point. They must have been talking to him for time. They must have been talking to him for a while because, although what I will say, it does smell a little bit like Graham Potter and Chelsea. Because when we sat Tuchel, this is exactly how it played out for us. And I'm not trying to compare Amarin to Potter because they're two different like qualities of managers. But I remember we sat Tuchel, and I think within hours, we were like, Ornstein was doing exactly the same. He was like talking about Graham Potter and all the rest of it. So I think it could be good, but I think sometimes it's better to just kind of, and I'm hoping this is what United have done, go and scope out, understand who's really out there, who's really available, who's really going to, at the moment, it's just United are working on a deal. It's not like the manager's keen to move or nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like one-sided at the moment. So the next story that needs to really break is Amarin is working on agreement with United or something. Do you know what I mean? This article doesn't really say that. It just says United are working on a deal to appoint him. Now, if they can pay out his release clause, which is not going to be a problem for United, then all it is really is just a case of what do you want? How much is the wages you want? What's your shopping list like for the summer? Make sure you come now. The Europa League, we need to try and win that.
Yep.
The summer's yours. We'll give you another 250 mil to spend or whatever. We're going to get rid of certain players. Me personally, I would get rid of. I would.
I know how to get rid of. Trust me.
I'd get rid of. I'd get rid of Maguire. I'm getting rid of Luke Shaw. I'm getting rid of Mason Mount. I'm getting rid of flipping Rashford.
Yeah.
Who else am I getting rid of? I don't know. There's so many people I'm getting rid of. But, yeah, I don't know. Well, what's your thoughts or your final thoughts before we wrap up? Obviously, kind of breaking news.
It's fantastic breaking news. No, look. So what you were saying before about players that he want near him because obviously, they know his style and that. We have to be careful of that because a certain guy who was just there bringing that as well, and it's not worked out for him.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But if I'm talking about the sporting squad, I'll give you 4 names that I would absolutely accept because
from the sporting squad.
Yeah.
Oh, Diamante's got to be on there.
God bless you. God bless you.
He's got to be on there. He's number one.
He's number one because he is genuinely
solid goal, solid defender. Exactly.
Yep. He's got a big future. Inacio is the second one I accept because I'm ideally in a 3 or 4 years time I want my 4 or 5 centre backs, depending if you must pay 3 at the back.
Yeah,
at United as well. My 5 centre backs. I'll say 5 centre backs. To offer availability to be Martinez, Euro, Delict, Diomande, Inacio.
Yeah,
I would love that. Absolutely love that. Because I'm not convinced to this day, and I never will be convinced by Diego Dallo at right back. I'm still kind of jury out on Maswari because I'm never one of the guys that was saying I want him. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Fresneda is one I would definitely take. But he's not one that he's not one of my 4. I'm just saying that if I, had to pick to replace those guys. However, Morten, I don't know Bush's name as well. The captain, he's from Denmark.
Yeah.
J. Mund, him. Quality.
Yeah.
And finally, of course, I'd have to say the name. You know the striker already. Those would be my options. But no, look, it's promising. It's promising on 2 factors. One, the fans have been screaming for Ten Hag to be gone and for the owners to bring in a manager that shows ambition.
Yeah.
And this is a manager that shows ambition because he's well sought after. This is someone that was wanted by 2 Premier League sides.
Yeah.
Them.
Well, 3. Add us in there as well. We wanted them before we got.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did actually. Yeah.
Before we got Pochettino, it was Pochettino. We was trying to get Pochettino, and then we went for Nagelsmann, Amarin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I forgot about that actually. Yeah, I completely forgot they went for him as well. And obviously, City were certainly looking at him because they're not sure about what's his name, his future yet. Pep's future yet. Yeah. So look, there's positives in that. I'm not saying because they wanted him, it means he's going to be a miracle worker. I know the guy that I've wanted.
He needs time
But
though.
at the
He's
same
gonna need the time to build. Like we just say, this could take years. If you get him, what is he, 39 as well? I think Amarin's only like
he's
39.
manager.
So
Yeah, he's a young manager. Yeah.
I could see, if you get this right, I could see United keeping him for 10 years plus. I don't know what he's like in like you obviously talking into the future, but if he gets it right and he needs the time, and Ian Os are true to their word, and they actually want to try and rejuvenate United, not just structurally, not in terms of Old Trafford and Carrington. I'm talking the squad and everything that sits in the stadium and beneath it and whatever else, the foundations. Then they're gonna have to give him time, and there might be 2 seasons where you're just finishing Champions League spaces and that's it, and then no trophies, but you're building something. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we have to see, man.
Yeah. I think you said it, you summed up perfectly there. United fans need to really understand what the process is right now. It's going to take a long time, guys, a long time, and I've got time for him. So I'm hoping that the guys bringing him in understand what's at stake here, and give him the real backing that he needs, and give him the free. My rule will never change, because I know it's a big job, and I think it'll take a long time. But my rule will never change. It's 3 years to build a squad.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
100%.
4 or 5 players in every summer, just to build something with maybe 1 or 2
Yeah.
versus in January. If you can, build a squad and then go for it. And if you can do that, fantastic. Fingers crossed. But yeah, man, good start to the Monday.
Gassed. I hear you.
It's only 11:43 over here in the morning, so I've got a day.
You could pod again. You could do another pod. But yeah, no, it's definitely good news for United. I think obviously still up in the air, but Ornstein is the 30 one. Like when he says something, you got to kind of hang your hat on that a little bit. But listen, it's been a good pod. It's been a good episode. As always, thank you for anyone that's been involved in a live stream or listening after this. Make sure you leave your thoughts below. Is Ruben Amorim the guy to take over from Erik ten Hag? Obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy is there as interim. Give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. What do United need in the summer as well? And what does this mean now for United season, for the rest of the season? Can they go on the trajectory and start having a consistent run of wins and also European football for them as well? Kojo, as always, man, pleasure. Thank you very much. Yeah, man. Enjoy.
The guy's got it out of my life, man.
I was going to say, man, the pod's going to hit a bit different every time you record now, isn't it? But no, I appreciate you, man. And yeah, we'll be back soon, man. Back soon with another podcast. So make sure you subscribe and all of that stuff.